This week's episode of The Accomplished Woman with Kathy Mendel, the show for accomplished women who are serious about their retirement. I'm your host, Kristen Oakley, and it's my joy to be back in the studio once again with the woman of the hour, Kathy Mendel, who is the founder and president of Theia Financial. Kathy, my friend, always great to be with you. How are you this week?
I love talking about helping women retire well. And it's so much fun to do that with you.
Oh, thank you. It's my favorite time of the week, hands down. Yeah. We love sharing it with you at home. So thank you so much for tuning in and watching today. Listen, if you've ever asked yourself the question, how much money do I need in order to retire? And not just to retire, but to retire well, you are not going to want to miss today's episode. And Kathy, I know one of the things that you are so passionate about, I've heard you say to me before, is that it's not so much how much money you have saved up for retirement, it's your ability to turn that amount of money into a reliable income stream for yourself that's going to last as long as you live. That's the key difference. That's the important thing, and that is what you are so passionate about helping women achieve.
Yes, and you know, what I find is that in visiting with women, just kind of to back up, I would say most women that I talk to, they're really looking forward to the day that they can stop having to clock in, rush around in the morning. They're really looking forward to being in control of their time, how they spend their time, who they spend it with. It's not that they hate their jobs. It's just that by the time they blow out their 65th candle, and maybe they've had a 30, 40-year career, they're ready to move on.
Yes.
Okay.
Dreams, goals, things that they want to accomplish, right?
It's so much, there's so much peacefulness when it comes around to thinking about being able to spend your time the way you want to. So when it comes to that, though, if the money is not right, or if you're worried that the income won't be there or won't be enough, or that it might not last long enough, that whole series of decisions just gets very, very tense. I was thinking about this. I was watching a movie about Ireland. It was a story on British TV. I love British TV. And they had this person standing looking over one of the cliffs in Ireland, and those cliffs are amazing.
Oh, they are.
Oh my goodness, they're beautiful. But I was sitting there looking at that, and I thought, you know, looking at that is kind of scary. If you took a wrong step, it's over with, right? You're toast. But if you jumped off with a parachute, it would be a blast. Well, maybe, if you were into that sort of thing.
As long as the chute opened, right?
So
disclaimer there.
It's not the cliff, it's how you're prepared to deal with the cliff. And that is exactly the same thing that's happening when you move into a new phase of life, and especially with retirement for women, because there's a lot of pieces to that. There's not only just having the fun of retirement, being able to do what you want to do, but you've come this far in your life, and having an unknown like that you can't answer those questions absolutely for sure, that's tough. That's tough for most women. So the question of how much money do I need to retire, that one has, that puzzles a lot of people. And if you go online and put that in Google, you get about 18 million hits in, what, 3 seconds?
And so many rules of thumb, which we've talked about before, don't really apply in today's economic climate.
No, they don't. You know, you can withdraw 4% in life, or 4% from your portfolio and never worry about your money for life. Or, you know, take 10 times your annual salary, and if you have that much saved, then you'll be fine for life. And oh, you can't take Social Security till 70 because you're losing. I mean, there's so many rules of thumb out there. But what I want to say is that most women have been in charge of the family budget. Most of them have been managing money their entire life. They know how this works, and maybe even at work, they might have been the CFO, or they might have been in charge of a department's budget or whatever. They know how money works, right? But then they come up to this, and it's like, you know, all of a sudden you have this pool, this stack of investment statements, and you have other things that you might be looking at, like your Social Security or other assets that you've accumulated, and putting all that together is where the tension comes from.
Yes, and I'm so grateful that you are passionate about helping women navigate all these pieces, because this is stuff you don't want to try on your own. You don't want to do it because you don't know what you don't know, and as we've always said on the show, how you make a decision in one area of your financial life does and will affect all the others, and decisions you could be making in your 50s and 60s can have long-reaching ramifications throughout the rest of your life. Right. And so let's start with this all-important question, because I'm sure this is something a lot of folks ask you. How much money am I going to need in order to retire? Is that a question that you get a lot?
Probably 90% of the time. Have I saved enough? If I were to ask you that question, Kristen, how much money will you need to have accumulated in order for you to live well in retirement?
I knew you were going to turn it around to me. Okay, so here's the thing. I have been in this industry for over a decade. And what's interesting is back when I first started the industry, met with a financial planner, developed a plan. I will truthfully tell you that at this moment, I do not know the answer to that question because of how much has just happened in the last couple of years alone with inflation. And I would say I'm at least 20 years out from retirement. I don't know what's going to happen between now and 20 years from now when that time comes. So I don't know right now myself how to confidently answer that question as a 44-year-old woman.
Right. So I think on the surface, it seems like what happens is a lot of people will go into retirement and they'll have money. And what they're trying to do is make that money work. How much can I draw of that pool of money and not run out? And my thought is how much income do you need? And let's make that pool of money produce that income.
Work for you.
Work for you instead of you just trying to pull it out. And when you get to the real the first question you have to answer when you're asking this question, it's not how much money do I need to have saved, it's how much money am I going to be spending?
And that's an important distinction.
That is the question.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, it isn't about how you're invested. It isn't about what you're invested in. It's not about ETFs, mutual funds, lifestyle funds. It's not about any of that.
Right.
It's about how much are you going to be spending. And that's a really important, and kind of takes a little soul searching actually, to have a conversation with yourself about that. And if you're married, I would recommend that you make a bowl of guacamole.
Ooh, that sounds yummy.
And get out whatever beverage of choice and sit down with your spouse and go through the numbers. Okay, honey, here's what we spent.
Right.
And I of course, being that I'm in the industry, I kind of watch this for myself. Now, I'm not living paycheck to paycheck, but what I do is pay attention to how do we live?
Yes.
Because how you live is how you're going to want to live. Now, this last month has been a terrible month for eating out. Holy cow, we have spent a lot of money eating out. It's like, whoa, we have to stop that because I'm paying more attention.
Right.
So an easy way to do this is to go to your bank account online and download your bank statement for 12 months.
Okay.
Okay, do a sort, and if you're good on Excel, you just sort by description, and it'll put all of your categories together. So all your utility bills and all of your house payments and all that stuff will be together, and you know what those are pretty much.
Yep.
But it's the things that you don't think about, the trips to Home Depot and the eating out and the grocery shopping.
Or how many apps have made it so easy where you just click now, even Amazon purchases, right? And next thing you know, all your information's loaded and you're on your phone and, I see this ad and that thing's cute, and all of a sudden you've spent way more than you intended to, right?
I mean, truthfully, that is going to be, and I don't even know how to address that because all it says is Amazon, right? And I don't know who bought that.
Right, was it me? Was it my husband? Right. You don't want to play the blame game either, right?
Right. But what you're trying to do is you're trying to put a price tag on your retirement. You need to know what your monthly income needs to be.
Yes.
That is the key to knowing if you have enough saved.
Right.
And then the skill of your advisor is how to turn that savings into retirement income that will last your lifetime, that will meet the needs of your monthly spending. How's that?
And it's so important to know like you said, you have to know where you're starting from in order to make the plan to get to where you want to go. And I know that in the past, you have offered a really helpful tool for women called the Spending and Income Planner. Is that something you'd be willing to offer to viewers today?
I am so happy to give that away.
Yay!
So how it works is over the years, I've put together the most common expenses. I mean, the ones that we all know about, but also the ones you may not think about. As an example, let's say on health care, okay, well, we'll be on Medicare. Well, what does that cost? If you're not there yet, you probably don't know.
Right.
All right. Well, what doesn't Medicare cover? It doesn't cover anything on your head, your teeth, your eyes, your ears. Okay.
Yep.
What does it cost to have dental work done? that comes out of your pocket.
Yes.
Okay, so there's some things like that are in there. And then there's the all-important category of just spending for the holidays, flying the family to vacation. I think you just got back from one where you all went together. Yes. Having you know, special events, anniversary parties and things like that you're a big part of, and maybe even be financing. Yep. Okay, helping the kids a little bit. So that type of stuff, you want to be sure you add that in there because that's important to you, right? Yep. When you get all of that done, you're going to add it up and you're going to find out at the bottom of the page, here's what we need for income. Once you have that number, then we can begin the process of putting together a retirement income plan.
So how can someone grab a copy of that?
Oh, that's so great. So all you have to do is call and ask for it, okay? So you'll call the number 866-724-4927 and tell one of our staff that you're looking for the spending income planner, and they'll set up a 15-minute Zoom call so that you and I can get acquainted. We can talk through that income planner a little bit. I'm actually the one that will be emailing it to you, so I want to be sure I have your correct email and that we have a chance to say hello. So 866-724-4927.
Kathy, thank you so much. To our viewers at home, we are going to take a quick commercial break, but we encourage you to take advantage of this opportunity to get your own spending and income planner from Kathy and the team at Theia Financial. Simply call the number on the bottom of your screen, 866-724-4927. You're also welcome to take out your smartphone. Simply scan that QR code in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. That will take you over to a landing page, ask you a few simple questions, and we'll be able to get connected with you and also send you a copy of that spending and income planner that way as well. When we come back, we're going to dive more deeply into this important question of how much money do you need in order to retire comfortably? Stay with us.
As your life unfolds, sometimes you don't see the future. You're in the moment. You're doing what you do in the moment, right? As an example, we have an orphanage in Kenya. Who would have ever dreamed we would do that? We didn't set out to do that. It happened. Worked for the 𝗃𝗃𝗃 Corporation world headquarters for about 20 years. And one day I thought, I don't want to do that anymore. I want to be inside of what's happening in families. I want to be in people's lives. I decided to open a financial firm that is not geographically constrained, that anyone can get involved with, that was really focused on women. Because I feel like women have a little different priority. They see money a little differently than a lot of men do. Very accomplished women, very capable. They've been managing money their whole life. They understand the need to save, and they have saved money, and they have put time in to make sure they have a future retirement that works. They know that they need to reach out, and they know they need to work with a company that really can help them move forward securely. And that's our passion. That's what we're doing.
Welcome back to The Accomplished Woman with Kathy Mendel. I'm your host, Kristen Oakley, and we are talking today about this important question of how much money do you need in order to retire and to be able to retire well? We don't want you to just retire, right, Kathy? We want women to be able to retire well. Yeah. And I know before the break, we talked about this important question you get asked 90% of the time is, how much money, what is the dollar amount that I'm going to need to have saved up in order to be able to retire well? But I know that another question that I've been asked a lot, I'm sure you have as well, is the question of, am I going to be okay? And I think at the root of that question, what folks are really concerned about is, am I going to outlive my money? I mean, especially as women, we are living longer. We have longer life expectancies, longer than we ever have before from previous generations. And so how do you help women address that question of, am I at risk of outliving my money?
They're not alone in feeling a little bit of anxiety around that subject. That's actually, in surveys that have been done recently, 50% of Americans are concerned that they're not going to, that they're going to outlive their money, that they're going to be in poverty at the end of their life or relying on someone else. Right. I think most of us have the goal that we want to set ourselves up so that we know that we're going to be good long term.
Yes,
that's the passion I have. Yeah. Why would you ever leave your retirement up to luck? The luck of the market growing for the next 30 years while you're retired. It doesn't happen like that, right?
Yep.
So what can you do? And the thing is that we talked about a minute ago, you have to know how much money you need or you want to spend. So I was thinking about this. Let's say that your family, that you and your spouse, we'll just use an easy number, you spend $100,000 a year, okay?
Right.
So, you know, that's what, $8,000 a month? That's not unheard of anymore, right?
Right, no,
so you spend $100,000 a year, you decide you're going to retire. What's going to change? Are you not going to spend $100,000 a year? Here's what I've found out. Most of the time, the number stays the same. It doesn't change much. So the one thing that does change is that the tax situation changes, because at work, taxes were withheld from your paycheck, and what you were getting was the net.
Right.
When you are withdrawing from your assets, that's the gross. So you have to maybe even gross it up to cover your taxes.
Yeah.
Okay. But the point is that the only way you're going to know that you're not going to run out of money is if you have created what I call a floor. And what a floor is, it's all of your guaranteed sources of income. So if you get that spending and income planner, at the bottom of the sheet, it's going to have you add everything up, and then it's going to ask you, what are your guaranteed sources of income? And you're going to write that in. And then you're going to subtract the two numbers, and you're going to find out what is your gap, what is your responsibility to provide for your spending. Okay, so when I look at guaranteed sources of income, what I'm talking about, I made a list of the ones that you see. When I say guaranteed, what I mean is it's not dependent on stock market, because you can't guarantee that.
No, nobody knows what's going to happen.
Exactly not. There is no guarantee. I don't care how good your advisor is. I'm sorry. They cannot guarantee what's in the stock market. But your Social Security, that is guaranteed. Your pension benefits are guaranteed. Your veterans benefits are guaranteed. If you have annuities with lifetime income benefits, those are guaranteed. If you have a rental, that's not guaranteed, but it's not tied to the market either.
Right.
So there's, you know, it could be a
different
floor.
investments have different amounts of risk attached to them.
You may have royalties, or maybe you're selling a business, so you have some cash flow coming in from that.
Right.
It's not. It can be part of the floor, maybe even temporarily part of the floor. Okay. But what you're looking for is that the floor, your guaranteed sources, covers your basic cost of living. And when I talk about that, what I'm really talking about is if you divide your spending categories into, let's say, needs, wants, and wishes. Okay, the needs are the non-negotiables. Those are the ones that have to be there every single month, month after month. When you're 65, when you're 72, when you're 83, when you're 91. You'll
be spending that amount no matter what.
It doesn't matter, and it's going to go up with inflation.
Right.
The things, those expenses will inflate, okay? So you have to know what that number is. And then your wants are the things that make it fun, dining out and pickleball. Okay, maybe you're into pickleball, I don't know.
Right.
Maybe you want to get a travel trailer, an RV, and travel the U.S. I mean, there's so many things that people do, but this is what makes your retirement fun.
Yes.
I had one of my clients, she says, I don't care about traveling, but I really loved helping my kids. She wants to help her grandkids get through college and things of that nature. That's her wants, okay?
Yep.
And then your wishes would be kind of that big once-in-a-lifetime thing. Could even be starting a foundation, all right? Or it could be a second home, or it could be a vacation home that the family uses, or, I mean, there's a thousand things.
There's no shortage of things that accomplished women want to achieve in retirement, right?
So it goes all over the board. I did this exercise with a gal from Texas. She had been widowed about 3 years before she retired. And so a lot of things changed. One is that she only had one Social Security, okay? When we did this exercise, what we discovered was that her need was about $6,000 a month for her total income.
Okay.
But when we fleshed it out a little bit more, we discovered that her actual need for the security of her ability to live was about $4,200 a month.
Okay.
So what was going on is she had all of her money in the market, which is what it was when her husband passed away. She just left it that way. And as the market was gyrating and moving, and she's taking this. Well, she only had $2,800 a month. She needed $6,000. So she's taking like $3,800 a month out of her portfolio.
Yeah.
Well, she's watching this fluctuate, and she's watching the account go down from market decline.
So it's getting depleted.
And going down from her withdrawals, and she's starting to panic.
Yes.
Okay. So we reallocated her whole portfolio, and we put enough into guaranteed sources that we could create the floor that would not go away.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay, now she has honestly, the peace of mind was just amazing. She still has money in the market that she can dip into for fun, but she knows that she will never be in a position where she's struggling for an income. And I think that's the piece that most people that I work with seem to, I don't care how much money they have. It doesn't matter. They still want to know that they don't have to worry about that.
Yes.
That it's going to be direct deposited into their account every month, and they just pay their bills, and life is good, and they go off and live their life.
Absolutely.
Right?
Well, what a gift to be able to give her, that gift of the peace of mind. And if you're sitting there watching going, you know what, I don't know. I don't know how much money I'm going to need to be able to retire well. I don't know what my expenditures are going to be, and I don't know what my current income gap is. It's time to pick up the phone and call. We encourage you, call Kathy and the team at Theia Financial. All you have to do is call that number on the bottom of your screen, 866-724-4927. You can also scan that QR code to get connected as well. This is for no cost, no charge, no obligation. It's simply an invitation to have a conversation to see how Kathy and the team at Theia Financial can help you address these important questions so that you can give yourself the gift of the peace of mind that comes with knowing where you stand and how to reach your financial goals and be able to retire well. We have more to cover with The Accomplished Woman with Kathy Mendel right after this.
We've all experienced those coulda, shoulda, woulda moments. When it comes to retirement, there are no do-overs. At Theia Financial, we understand the importance of retirement planning and turning your savings into reliable income you can count on. Retirement is more than just financial security. It's about spending quality time with your loved ones, embracing your creativity and pursuing your life's passions, and discovering the countless marvels that make our world a truly remarkable place. With a belief in the power of preparation, we work with accomplished women to design personalized plans. Don't leave retirement planning up to chance. Take control of your financial future and turn your retirement dreams into a long-lasting reality. Contact us today to schedule your free consultation.
Welcome back to The Accomplished Woman with Kathy Mendel. She is the founder and president of Theia Financial, and I'm your host, Kristen Oakley. And we are talking today about important questions that accomplished women need to ask in order to be able to retire well. How much money am I going to need to live off of in retirement? How much money do I need to have saved up? And how do I convert that to an income stream for myself? And Kathy, I know you shared before the break a great story of a woman that you were able to help who had become a widow, and you identified what her income gap was and then looked at some guaranteed income sources that she could put into place in order to close that income gap. And what a gift of peace of mind that she was able to have as a result. I love story time with Kathy because I always learn how many people you've been able to help and how you've been able to help them. I know you have an important story to share that you've told me before, and I would love for the viewers to hear it, about the Pacific Crest Trail. So do you mind sharing this story and how it applies to everything we're talking about?
Now, do I look like somebody who has hiked the Pacific Crest Trail? Right?
That could be a good two truths and a lie.
Right. Yes, exactly. Yeah. So about 6 years ago, my offices that I had, one of the roads that I drove on that would get me from office to office crossed the Pacific Crest Trail. So I saw people walking a lot with their backpacks and everything. Right. And on the way home one time, I told my husband, I said, I want to hike the Pacific Crest Trail. And he's like, really? I said, I'm serious. I really want to do that. And in fact, one of my grandchildren said, Grandma will never be able to make that.
Oh, don't challenge Kathy on
that's
something.
That's all that was needed.
Right?
Are you kidding? So after we spent a house payment on equipment, right? Okay.
That's what it takes,
It's
right?
what it takes. Of course, I did not train at all. And so it was my husband and I and another couple. When I told them what we were going to do, they wanted to do it too. Well, working full-time, running a financial firm, and my husband was working full-time, so we couldn't be gone for 3 months. So what we decided to do was to break it up into 3- and 4-day hikes. And so if it was a 3-day hike, we would hike about 40 miles. And if it was a 4-day hike, we'd hike 40 to 50.
Wow.
So we get our backpacks. You know, and they were so heavy, 40 pounds or so, you know, really stupid. We didn't know what we were doing. Right. But, you know, accomplished women, we have grit. We just go out and get things done, right?
Exactly right.
So that's what we were doing. So Anyway, so on our very first hike, I will never forget this. So we get on, you know, we've got everything together, our trekking poles and our packs and our hat and everything we needed. Off we go. Well, prior to leaving, I had done some calculations on how many calories we needed to consume for the energy we were putting out.
Oh, smart.
Yeah. So, you know, you have your dehydrated meals at night and you can heat up water and do all that, and that's fine.
Right.
But I was thinking about during the day, what did we need? Well, I kind of went overboard. So I go to Costco and I buy these protein bars, a big box of them, and I figured, well, we'll probably eat 2 of these a day, and you know, we're going to be gone for 4 days, and there's 2 of us, and so I had this box of protein bars in my pack, and I'm not kidding you, they weighed like 9 pounds.
Those things are dense.
They're dense. We never ate one of them.
Oh
they were so nasty. They were horrible.
No.
And so here I packed this 9 pounds on my back the whole time we were gone. We never used them at all, but I thought it seemed like a good idea, right?
Right, you're wanting to be prepared.
Each time we went, I learned something new. That's winging it. Okay, so I used to tell my clients were flabbergasted that we were doing that, and I said, I know I have conference room legs, and I know I've been wearing high heels for 25 years, okay, but I believe I can do this.
Yes.
And we did it until we started having so many forest fires that the smoke was too thick, you couldn't go. We're looking forward. We got most of Oregon done. Now we're going to do Washington next.
Oh, how exciting.
But here's what I want to say. There is a time that you can wing it on projects like that. You can go out and have some fun. I mean, I would be so tired by the time we got to our destination that I would just kind of walk into our tent and just collapse. I don't need to eat. I'm just going to, in fact, I can't even move. I'll just lay here, okay?
Right.
You know, I mean, it was so much, it was fun, and it was really a great time. And I'm so glad we did it, and I'm looking forward to doing it again. But what I'm saying is that I wouldn't want to go into retirement like that.
No.
Just pack on, put on the the pack, buy the bars, or get an investment scheme together
Hope
that seems like it'll work, you know, and just take off and go for it. Because if it doesn't work, it's too late.
Yes.
You're toast, right?
There's no do-overs.
There's no do-overs.
Right.
And when you're going on a project like that, like the Pacific Crest Trail, I mean, we could have stopped and gotten off and hitched a ride somewhere and got back to our cars. But when you're walking into retirement, not having a plan that is absolutely solid and that's proven and tested and known is not the time to do that.
No.
The ROI before you retire, the ROI being return on investment, right? Everybody knows that word. But I think it changes when you start moving into retirement. ROI takes on a new definition, and it's reliable, ongoing income.
I love that.
That's where you have to make a shift there. And it's not something that happens accidentally.
Right.
It's something that happens very much on purpose. And so when we're talking about retirement planning and accomplished women and all, I know what it feels like to be that woman that says, I want to do this, I'm going to strap on that backpack and off I go, and not relying on other people for making decisions. But in this phase of life, it's time to have a conversation with a person that knows about Social Security. They know about how pensions work. They understand the need for the floor, having a floor of income that will take you through your entire life.
Yes.
That isn't represented in every financial firm.
Right.
I hate to say that, but it's not. A lot of firms are focused on your investments and the structure of the mutual funds that you buy and all of that. They're not really focused on this. And I'm going to tell you, yes, you have to have that, but you don't want to leave out this other important part either.
Absolutely. Well, Kathy, thank you so much. It's always a treat to be with you. And we encourage you at home, don't wing it. You only get one shot at retirement. And Kathy and the team at Theia Financial are standing by and ready to help. So just call the number on the bottom of your screen, 866-724-4927. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next week.